I gotta get in there and I mean they're just running constantly, you know.
But the thing is, make sure you go through the reps first.
No, yeah, we will.
Like take this one for example, Emride, get a hold of Andrew.
Well, they're on a pause anyway till football. So
okay, but like I'm saying,
coffee.
One, just,
So anybody got the flu? My son's got a little bit of the flu. I think some people are.
Already got Gettle on the phone. Let Gettle handle your clogged drains. And while we're at it, have my guys perform our furnace rejuvenation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Good to be here. We're streaming today. Streamed last night. Got a lot of good feedback. Hopefully, we'll get some today. I'm going to talk about that dysfunctional NBA All-Star game. Bobby, I'm assuming you didn't watch a second of it.
absolutely.
Did you watch? Did you watch the Saturday Night Live 50th?
No. I got clips of it here and there, but not a ton. You know, I mean, for me, it was like the first 5 years, and that's it, really.
You're becoming a clip guy. You're watching a lot of clips.
Yeah.
Everybody hear me good? Kenny, Big D, we sound good today? Good to see everybody. Big week here. We got the Max Crosby Commitment to Excellence Awards on Saturday. I'm doing a chalk talk with Aiden O'Connell and Rod Woodson Friday. Busy week, 7-day a week for me.
Here we go.
To the JT the Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 20 years.
Over to the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, good to be here. Hope you had a great President's Day. And we are back on what the NFL would call a short week. Hope everybody's feeling good. A lot of flu bug going around. I got one kid in my house with it. Hope everybody is healthy. Hope everybody's feeling well. We got a big flu bug going through Vegas, man. I guess the rest of the country too. But I'm hearing more and more about people under the weather in Vegas. Anytime I can remember pre-COVID, I'm serious. So I hope everybody's safe and feeling good and healthy here because I'm not hearing that from a lot of people out there. So be healthy. It's that winter time wherever you are. We got a lot of our audience outside this market, and we hope you're doing well as we get going. I got a lot to get to today. Today's going to be a real busy show. It'll be NBA heavy. It'll be NBA heavy because I'm a sports talk host, and there's not a lot going on, and there's a lot going on in the NBA with the dysfunction of the NBA All-Star Game and what happened in San Francisco, where we've always had a vibrant audience in the Bay Area. And I know that you're not just football fans, you're sports fans. And if not, you can kind of just check out on me because I'm talking sports. In February and March Madness, we got Four Nations hockey coming up, which I love. But I'm going to lead with the Raiders. For those who are here and those on our YouTube channel, JT the Brick YT, we'd like to get some new subscribers. We're actually giving away prizes to the YouTubers coming up here as we're putting that together, JT the Brick YT. And if you want to come and watch the show, and it's kind of cool to watch because you can see what we do and why Bobby and I kind of put this thing together every day. And it's raw, it's natural, and we fly from and shoot from the hip every day. All right, today's the first day for the window of the franchise tag in the NFL. And I'm going to give you my opinion overall on the franchise tag, which might get you engaged to call the show on what the franchise tag means and how important it is for the owners. You see, I'm pro-owner. Not because of Mark Davis and being friends with Mark Davis. I'd run through a wall for Mark Davis. You think I'm embarrassed by that? No, I'm proud of that. But I've always been pro-owner more than pro-player. And a lot of the players are my friends. You hear them on the show. It doesn't mean I don't like the players. I love the players. But I think the owners should have more power than the players. And that's the focus of the monologue brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue every day, every weekday, weekends too, 7 days a week, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. The best happy hour in town, half-price drinks, food. They're open 24/7, and they give you 2 opportunities for happy hour. So what I just said might have got you to pull over because maybe you don't like owners. I like owners. They're the people that invest in the team. They're the people that take the risk. But in the last 20 or 30 years, there hasn't been much risk, man. If you own an NBA team, an NFL team, a hockey team, the value just goes through the roof because of television and streaming. We have hundreds of millions of people in this country, and they need to watch television. And live sports is the king. It used to be sitcoms. You could watch MASH and All in the Family back in the day. You could follow shows that got 30 million people to watch. Tony Orlando from Tony Orlando and Dawn told me that we had dinner with the Bolitnikovs. I almost fell out of the booth at Barry's Steakhouse, and he said, Michael Landon had Little House on the Prairie. We went against him. He'd have 32 million and I'd have 30 million. I go, what? He goes, yeah, 2 shows would have 30 million people watching every week. That's not the case anymore. No one watches network television. Nobody. Legacy news is dying. Cable news, where people are loud and they scream and they're angry every day. They're loud every day. Literally, no one watches it. You think that you watch it. So if your parents are watching The Five or they're watching Anderson Cooper, you're like, wow, this is interesting. No one's watching compared to what they used to watch in television, but they're watching live sports more than ever. And that's because of the owners, because they own the team. Players come and players go, man. We got Raiders who've played 6 games in Raider history and come back because they're Raiders. Once a Raider, always a Raider. I love that about the franchise. But players come and go. Not everybody plays as long as Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. The average player plays over 4 years. The average owner owns the team their whole life. So the owners have a weapon. It's called the franchise tag. And they're allowed to use it because the worst teams in football draft the highest. Raiders have the 6th pick in the draft. The Titans have the 1st. So those teams need an advantage. So the league decided to take the worst teams and give them the highest draft picks. Makes sense. How would any of the bad teams ever get good if they're not able to get free agents? Because a lot of free agents don't want to go to the bad teams. Dirty secret. They don't want to go to the bad teams. You know of an NBA player that wants to play for the Pelicans? Do you know of an NBA player that's ever wanted to play for Sacramento? They want to play for Sacramento if they get paid. So the owners are able to keep their players under contract after their contracts are expiring, getting to the end by hitting them with the franchise tag. And they can do that for 2 years. And there's a couple of different tags that you could have. But T. Higgins is the best name out there, and he's the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. If he came to the Raiders, T. Higgins, he would be the number 1 wide receiver. But T. Higgins is asking for a lot of money. He wants to be paid like a number 1 wide receiver, but they have Jamar Chase, who's going to reset the market and be the highest paid receiver of all time. So you can't have the 2 highest paid receivers on your team. The 49ers had Jerry Rice. The other guy was John Taylor. John Taylor was really good. He didn't get paid what Jerry Rice got paid, but he was great. Back in the day, you had Bolitnikoff and Branch. Man, if you knew the real money they made, oh my God. And they made a little bit of money near the end of their career, but they weren't playing for a lot of money. And the Raiders were a great example. They had a number 1 in Freddie, a number 2 in Cliff, but they were pretty much both great and Hall of Famers. It's great when you have that. The 49ers have recently had that. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. I mean, they got Christian McCaffrey. They got a bunch of number 1s on that team. But T. Higgins could be tagged again. After playing on the tag in 2024, he's eyeing a long-term deal. So it's easy to give him a long-term deal. You tag him, then you negotiate with him. And then you try to restructure Joe Burrow's contract like Tom Brady used to do. Mahomes does. Then you give a little bit more money to T. Higgins in a signing bonus. And then you just get your capologist in the building and figures out how you're going to amortize that contract over the years. And then you just go to your offensive line and go, hey, we need you to redo your contract. We're going to give you $2 million in fresh cash, but we want to extend you out or do this and that. It's fuzzy math, I call it, and they figure it out. But the T. Higgins tagging him for a 2nd straight year would give the Bengals the opportunity, gives them a little extra time to negotiate the deal, and it could also be a massive chip with another team because then you get compensation. If that other team wants to do a trade, you get the compensation back because you tagged them. So I think this is a big Raider topic. because I think T. Higgins would be a great fit for the Raiders. Unbelievable fit. A matter of fact, when Devontae came here a couple of years ago now, Devontae was a great fit because he was arguably the best wide receiver in all of football. He was 1 or 2. T. Higgins is not even number 1 on Cincinnati. I don't have him ahead of Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. It's CeeDee Lamb in Dallas. I have CeeDee Lamb ahead of T. Higgins, but T. Higgins is pretty close. And if he gets franchise tagged, he gets paid the top 5 at that position. And I think that's who he is now. He's probably the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th best wide receiver in football. He's definitely between 5 and 10. And if he came to the Raiders, he'd go to number 1. So if he doesn't get tagged, the Raiders got a really good chance to go get him. If he does get tagged, I don't think the Raiders will get him because I don't think the Raiders are going to want to go through the Cincinnati franchise tag to pay the premium to get him. That's just my opinion. But maybe the Raiders have him targeted really high. So I go through the list. ESPN put out the list today of all the top players who could potentially get tagged. So I went to the Las Vegas Raiders, and this is what they say. ESPN, the Raiders have used the franchise tag on only 6 players in club history. Most recently, Josh Jacobs in 2023. Safety Trayvon Merrick is among the few free agents the Raiders could try to retain. Merrick is expected to generate interest in free agency after posting career highs in tackles, 104, passes defended 10, and quarterback hits 3. However, the franchise tag for safeties is close to $20 million, more than Merrick's projected market value. Yes, I don't get involved in contracts with the Raiders, but you don't want to franchise tag Trayvon Merrick and make him a top 5 safety in the league because he's not. He's not the top 5 safety in the league. You can argue he's not in the top 10, but he's got good talent. Then the Raiders should be able to sign him. Now, if the Raiders don't franchise tag Trayvon Merrick, then Trayvon Merrick can look at other teams. And one team, it only takes one team with all these deals. Just one team to say, yeah, we don't have anybody at safety. Let's go get him. Let's give him $18 million, whatever the number is, and go get him. And the Raiders could say, yeah, we're going to draft another safety. Or we're going to use Isaiah Palomal. We're going to use someone else in that position. So I don't think many Raider fans want to franchise tag any of the players. If you're a Raider fan and agree or disagree, 702-365-9200. I don't think the Raiders are going to use the franchise tag. They're not going to use it on Aiden O'Connell. They're not going to use it on a lot of guys that are here. So the Raiders are in no man's land when it comes to this franchise tag. But I think the Raiders will be very interesting. I'm going to stay in the AFC West. According to ESPN, Khalil Mack with the Chargers would be a candidate. But part of his contract restructure last season, he can't be franchise tagged again. So outside of Mack, no Charger free agent is worthy of a franchise tag. I go to Kansas City in our division. The Chiefs have a lengthy list of free agents they would prefer to retain, but a shortage of cap space. Ooh, that's good news. The Chiefs don't relish the idea of losing guard Trey Smith, but putting a franchise tag on him at a projected cost of $25 million would wipe out their plans to re-sign others. So they got a decision they have to make here with their offensive line because that offensive line got thrown around. They were dominated by Philadelphia. And then the Denver Broncos were interesting to me because remember, they've had some cap issues because they dumped Russell Wilson, right? They got rid of Russell Wilson and they had to eat a lot of that money there. The list of starters from last year who are scheduled to be unrestricted free agents include DJ Jones, their defensive tackle, Cody Barton, their linebacker, Javonte Williams, their running back, is really good. And I don't think they're going to franchise take Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. So I don't think in our division we have to worry much about what's going to happen there. And the Jaguars look to be a big team here because last offseason they signed Trevor Lawrence, Josh Hines-Allen, Tyson Campbell to extensions. I told you a couple of months ago, I love the roster in Jacksonville. So the list of the free agents, the targets of free agents and the franchise tag candidates is T. Higgins and everybody else. And if you're a Raider fan, I'd really like your information or what your opinion would be on the franchise tag here and what you think T. Higgins would be if you think that's the type of player that you want to go after. Also, Sam Darnold is a big name. Sam Darnold is a really important name because it's always intriguing to find out the projected franchise tag figures. I got this from Over the Cap and examine each team's likelihood of using the tag. The quarterback position, if you're franchise tagged, means you'll make a minimum of $41,325,000. $41 million.
Wow.
Do you think that the Vikings want to franchise tag Sam Darnold for $41 million? No, they don't, but they want to do a deal with him around $40 million and spread it out over 3 years. Does Sam Darnold deserve to be top 5 at the position? No. Top 5 at the position is Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. I just gave you 4 right there. Sam Darnold's probably anywhere from 8 to 12, but he could be the quarterback of the Raiders potentially if he doesn't get tagged and he goes into free agency. So I talked to Vince Sapienza today because I wanted to know, we were talking with friends off the air, and I said, what's been the big topic on your morning show? He said, Sam Darnold. I said, ooh, do tell. What's going on there? He says a lot of Raider Nation are trying to come to grips on what's going to happen now with Sam Darnold. I said, thank you, Vince. That's a good topic for my show. That's always a big topic because I'm always trying to figure out what Raider fans think of the quarterback position. And Sam Darnold is the quarterback that makes the Raiders instantly credible next year if he breaks the huddle and comes out on the first play of the game. He's instantly improves the Raiders to a point where the Raiders can beat anybody. The Raiders have a quarterback that they know can start every game, and he's really good. Now, you're going to tell me he wasn't good 2 years ago. I don't care. I don't care what you said when he was a backup with the 49ers or played for Carolina. This show is live on February 18th, 2025. I'm talking about the next quarterback. Don't tell me this guy's a bum. I got the stats here in front of me. 66.2% completion. Wow. 4,319 yards, 35 touchdowns. That's really good. That gives the Raiders massive credibility against the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Chiefs in the division. Where the hell are we going as a team if we don't win the division? I mean, really, where are we going if we don't win the division? I think Kansas City, the dynasty's dead. I believe they're coming back to the pack. I also believe that Denver's beatable. We beat them 8 in a row until we lost 2 in a row. That's not going to – I hope that changes. And the Chargers are always going to charge her. The Chargers are always going to charge her and give us 2 games, and we're going to be in either one of those games is going to come down to the fourth quarter. Even if we're better than the Chargers or they're better than us. Always going to come down to the Chargers. The rest of your life with Harbaugh and Herbert, we're going to be either down 4 in the fourth quarter or up 4 in the fourth quarter, and we're going to have to make plays. And I'm much more comfortable with Pete Carroll making the plays and getting it done. So here's what CBS Sports says today. The Vikings are in a precarious position at quarterback. The club signed Darnold to a 1-year deal last offseason as a stopgap option, and the veteran lit it up. He helped Minnesota win 14 games in the regular season and nearly clinched the number 1 seed in the conference. However, Darnold did stumble down the stretch, including the playoff loss to the Rams. That, along with the presence of former first-round pick J.J. McCarthy, does cloud the future for the Vikings. While Darnold will seek a long-term extension, the Vikings could make a savvy move of franchising him to keep him in-house for another year and let McCarthy develop. I think that's probably the play.
Yeah,
I would franchise tag Sam Darnold because Minnesota has never, ever won a Super Bowl, and they're this close. If you're watching me, you see my fingers. If you're listening, they're this close to winning a Super Bowl. They were good enough to win the Super Bowl last year, definitely. They could have beat Philadelphia in a playoff game. They would have had it at home. Remember, if they beat Detroit, they would have had the 1 seed, and Philadelphia would have had to go to Minnesota. That's how close Minnesota was with Philadelphia. Why would Minnesota want to take a step back and let J.J. McCarthy win 5 games? It's a fan base that's never won. So I think that's going to be the smart thing to do. But when it comes to the Raiders are in no man's land when it comes to this franchise tag. I got nothing.
Yeah.
We're not going to franchise tag Trayvon Merrick, I would bet. And the last time they used it is against Josh Jacobs, and CBS Sports is also saying that the Raiders and Trayvon Merrick, he did have a standout season, but probably not worth investing $19.6 million or $20 in the franchise tag. And I would agree with that. I don't get involved with the players I interview's money,
Right.
but I don't think Trayvon Merrick is not a top 5 safety, nowhere near it. He's a top 10 talent. That's the problem we have around here. Everybody tells me how great Nate Hobbs is. When is Nate Hobbs great? He doesn't play a lot. When he plays slot corner. If he's really good, he can play corner. Eric Allen played corner his entire career. He was great. He's getting a gold jacket. Don't use the word great here on this show when you're saying Jacorian Bennett and Nate Hobbs. They're not great. They're good prospects. They're good potential players. But the good news for the Raiders is that the Raiders do have the second most cap space in the league with $92.5 million at their disposal. Wow, that's a lot of money. You could use a lot of that money to go get Sam Darnold. You could use some of that money to get Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. You could use a chunk of that money to go out and get a quarterback.
Yeah.
In free agency, you can.
Yeah.
And then you got to pay Patrick Spillane and Malcolm Kuntz, if that's the one. Or Chason, whoever. You're going to take one or two. You're not going to keep – I don't think they're keeping Chason and Kuntz. No. So you got to figure out who you want to keep there on a discounted deal. But, man, we got to give John Spice Tech some grocery money, man.
I know.
You know, we got to give him some money to go shopping. And he's got to go shopping for some big-time players. No more projects.
Yeah.
No more of these projects. No more, hey, right tackle. Do you know how many times I had to bite my tongue? And not lie, but bite my tongue when I'm talking to GMs about the 7th-round right tackle. Well, we're going to go with the 7th-round right tackle. Really? In the NFL? We're going to go with the 7th-round right tackle in an NFL game in a division with the Chiefs? That's not going to work anymore. We need to shop and get elite players or players who have played in this league that are going to be worth the money coming in. Now, there could be a bust here or there that, a lot of teams don't want to spend money on free agency because why is the player available? Why is the player available? It's because the current team doesn't want him anymore. No one knows more about a player than the current team. So the current team says, you can go have him. We don't want him. I want to know why. How does he practice? How does he party? What does he do on the weekends? Is he the first one in, last one to leave? The good news about the Raiders is Max Crosby's at the front door. And he makes sure that he gets there first. And he's the last to leave. And you better get in line behind Max Crosby. So I'm excited about this. 21 minutes into the show. My first day back. Let's guess who's going to be the first Raider fan to tell me they want Darnold or Darnold should not be paid this amount of money. Because Darnold's going to be a big topic here going forward when I do drop Raider content in. And I did drop it in today for 20 minutes in the monologue. I'm going NBA the whole show. I'm going, what happened up at the NBA in San Francisco was an absolute debacle. An absolute debacle of epic proportions. And we're a Bay Area show. Our DNA is with the Bay Area. So if you got anything you'd like to comment on the NBA All-Star game, Draymond Green's comments, some of the things that were said, I got all the sound here on how they destroyed a game that used to be pretty cool. The NBA All-Star game used to be fun. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, John Havlicek, if you go back in the day.
Sure.
They took that game and destroyed it. And they did it, and they couldn't figure it out. Kevin Hart was on television more than All-Stars. Kevin Hart was on television more than the players. They made Chuck and Shaq dress up in fishing gear. I'm all for E40 and Too Short. One should have opened the show. One should have did halftime. That would have been fine. And, all of that, to me, I watched Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary, and I was also watching the end of the Daytona 500 because the Daytona 500 was in a big rain delay.
Yeah.
So by the time Saturday Night Live started and the All-Star game started. I was kind of switching back and forth. But I'd like your opinion today because I've done it on 2 other platforms hard, and that's what I'm going to try to do today because I think it's a topic that we can all enjoy because the basis of the topic is they're screwing and touching our sports again. They're touching our sports again and screwing it up for the worst. And how would you change the NBA All-Star game? Would you cancel it? No. Would you give the players more money?
No.
Would you go back to East versus West? Would you have the United States versus an international team? What would you do? The guy who won the dunk contest is not even in the NBA. He's in the G League. I feel bad for my friends in the Bay Area because 25 years ago, the NBA All-Star game was in Oakland. I had a lot of juice for that game. I was credentialed right in the lower bowl, went to some cool parties, and it was great. Vince Carter won the slam dunk contest. It was amazing. In a quarter of a century, 25 years later, they destroyed it. And they did it on the hallowed grounds of the Bay Area where Raider Nation still thrives. I need a comment from you on that NBA All-Star game. 702-365-9200 is the number today to get through an every day. I come in here every day and guess about what you want to talk about. I just went balls out for 25 minutes. Let's see who's there. We'll dive into this and the Four Nations hockey. That hockey game's on Thursday night. I'm already making plans. Get out of the house. Do not watch that game at home. That's going to be one of the coolest nights out in Vegas. If you can get a booth at 5 o'clock in a casino in a lounge, you'll have a great time for that. The monologue brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, the original handmade vodka with the biggest impact around the world. More and more people are saying, I'll have a Tito's. Tito's Handmade Vodka, proud partner of the show. Open lines. I guess everyone loves to listen. 702-365-9200. We're off to a flying start off of President's Day, short week on a Tuesday.
It's the morning tailgate.
Sam Darnold.
What's happening, everyone?
The likeliest of any to be a longer-term option than an Aaron Rodgers, than a Russell Wilson, than a Jimmy Garoppolo.
All
Just
right.
by age alone. I think we all agree that a Sam Darnold, there's a consensus out there that Sam
How are we
Darnold
doing?
raises the floor of this
All-Star
quarterback
shit really
room
bothered me, man. I've put a lot of content out on that the last couple of days.
On Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
I'm a sports talk radio host, Bobby. I got to watch sports. Can't do a show if I don't watch any of this shit.
You know it's to be a clusterfuck when the word go.
Yeah, I thought it would be interesting. Every time I tuned in, Kevin Hart was talking to someone. It was just like, oh. Yeah, it has been.
Accidents happen, and they usually come at inopportune times. Medical care is.
I'm not a fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill comes here. You won't hear much from me on that. Hope the Raiders. I'm not going down the Tyreek Hill road. You know that.
You don't need a checking account.
Yeah, Big D. I like the end of Daytona. Seems like every Daytona final lap, there's a wreck behind the leaders. As someone tries to get up front and get a push, and then the whole thing explodes. You know, those green checkered finishes kind of a little bit. Just like to see Big D, that race be a little bit more smoother, man. God, how many cautions were there at Daytona? It was brutal.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything. Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on.
To our father, to our family, to the expert legal team at DeCastroverde, we founded this firm for you. We're the DeCastroverde Brothers, and we have your back.
Brotherswin.com. Vegas football fans, want to meet the legendary Max Crosby? He'll be at the grand opening of his new Papa John's this Thursday. And Papa John's is celebrating all week with 50% off regular menu price pizzas.
James, you're a big AOC guy. I'll let him know about you. I'm doing an event with him on Friday.
Papa John's restaurant. See you there. RSVP to Meet Max and get the details at meetmax.eventbrite.com. Don't miss the Papa John's grand opening this Thursday. Visit meetmax.eventbrite.com to sign up today.
By July of 2025, nearly all Nevada employers will be required to offer a retirement plan to all employees. As a business, how do you even start? Just call the Vegas Chamber to get plugged into the Chamber's 401k plan. It's simple to administer, provides great options, and will quickly help your business meet Nevada's new retirement plan mandate. Visit vegaschamber.com to get plugged in.
Sponsored by the Vegas Chamber in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Get baked, get sauced, get rocked. Come check out River Rock Pizza and Pasta at Arizona Charlie's Decatur. We're serving up some of the best specialty pizzas and classic pasta dishes this side of Vegas. Now with pizzas from just $7, our classic rock-inspired restaurant will have you dancing in your seat. River Rock Pizza and Pasta at Arizona Charlie's Decatur is available for dining in or to go. Only at Arizona Charlie's Casino.
If it's for the truck, give us a call. We've got it. Hey Vegas, at For the Truck, we always offer our first responders and military a 10% discount. Are you ready to take your truck to the next level? For the Truck is giving everyone 10% off all Linex spray and bed liners. And remember, gift cards are available at For the Truck. If it's for the truck, give us a call. We've got it. 702-840-4400.
All right.
Cristo Rey St. Viator College Preparatory High School.
It's going to be LeBron not playing the All-Star game coming back, and I got Thor on.
Okay. Fucking no NBA people calling in, man. 30 years on the radio in this market, and there ain't any NBA fans to be found. And this city wants an NBA franchise. Good luck with that.
To learn more about the school or schedule a campus tour, please call 702-844-2019 or visit CristoRaySt.Viator.org today. That's 702-844-2019.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
And unfortunately, I will not be in uniform tonight. Still dealing with so I will not be playing tonight. Forward to seeing the format. This is the first year for. They call us the OGs. That's hilarious. We do got a few guys with gray hairs, so that makes sense.
So LeBron James coming off the NBA All-Star game. He was the big villain. There's a lot of villains in the NBA, everybody. Welcome back. JT with you. Brought to you by Tequila Commissario, the 5-star tequila, the Ferrari of tequilas. Once you try it, you'll never go back. The Reserve is the best I've ever had. The Añejo, the Blanco. Tequila Commissario, proud partner of our show. So you can look at the NBA two ways. I'm in Vegas, but we kind of do a national show here. And when it comes to the NBA, we're going to try to get an NBA team in Vegas. And I think it's going to happen because I know the people behind the scenes, the real people who are going to build the arena and do the financing and do it. This has been a scam for the last couple of years, everybody trying to figure out who's going to build it. Are they going to build it across from the Fountain Blue? All these scams. No. There's one group here that has the gravitas to bring the NBA here. Also, from everything I've heard, LeBron James will be part of that investment group. LeBron James is a billionaire already, and he hasn't retired. There aren't many billionaires in sports. There are guys who are worth 100 or 200 million, but they're not billionaires. LeBron is one. So LeBron decided at the very, very end to opt out of the All-Star game. He didn't play in it. And why that was such a bad look is it left someone else off the team that could have been an all-star and told their kids and family, I'm at the all-star game. LeBron did that on purpose. He knew he wasn't going to play in the game. Now, throughout their careers, I'm going to give you two players, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, who were injured and played in the all-star game. Fact, not fiction. Right. Ice in the locker room on their knees. Ice at halftime, limping and playing in the all-star game. Fact. LeBron didn't want to do that. Okay, LeBron's the oldest player in the league. He's great. He's not good. He's a great player still. If he wants to win a championship and doesn't want to tweak his ankle or foot in the All-Star game, he doesn't have to play. But he's got to give up his spot to someone else. Yeah. Then this guy has the balls to show up to the locker room in street clothes when he was supposed to be in the team picture. So the team had beautiful uniforms. They all line up for the picture, white backdrop. And LeBron shows up with a hat on backwards and jeans and some hoodie on and stands right in the middle of the picture, ruins the picture. Right. You know what I mean about ruining a picture? Yeah. You go to a wedding, everyone's in black tie, and then some idiot who is not in black tie gets in the picture, and you're like, man, That picture could have been great, but everyone's going to look at the clown in the outfit there. And LeBron did that. And LeBron it's never dunked in the All-Star game, ever.
Nope.
Kobe and Michael Jordan did. He didn't do it. So LeBron's getting a lot of heat for this, and he's the face of the NBA. And I can promise you, he will be the face of the Las Vegas NBA franchise. So if you don't like LeBron, and I live in Vegas and plan on being here for a while, LeBron is going to have a very big footprint in Vegas, the way Mark Davis had a footprint moving the Raiders here. And then Mr. Foley came here with the Golden Knights, and Jonathan Marchessault and Jack Eichel have a big footprint here. LeBron's going to have a big one because he's going to be a part of NBA ownership, I believe. But the big issue was Draymond Green. Draymond Green dropped a bomb on the set of TNT. He had the ability to go on TNT. This was the last TNT All-Star broadcast. Ernie, Shaq, Kenny, they do a pretty good job. They've been doing it. Charles Barkley, the biggest name in NBA media. Well, Draymond's supposed to be the replacement for Charles or Shaq when they retire because he's on the show often when he's not playing. Here's what he said about the All-Star game.
You work all year to be an all-star, and you get to play up to 40, and then you're done. This is so unfair to Victor Wembanyama, who just took this game really seriously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who just took this game really seriously. When you talk about chasing after the points records, Melo and Kobe and all these guys who had great scoring nights, they don't get the opportunity to do that with this game. Also, we can watch some rising stars. We're about to watch the Olympic team. Now we get the treat of watching the Olympic team play against a U19 team. Come on, what are we doing?
Scale of 1 to 10, your thoughts of the format?
10 being the best.
Yes.
A 0 sucks.
Wow. Draymond. We got Draymond fans on this show. Come on, we're Raider Nation Radio. We got to have some Draymond fans out there. He basically went on the set at the All-Star game produced by the NBA and said he gives it a 0, and it sucked. That guy better win an Emmy Award for that appearance. They better give him an Emmy Award for doing that. That took guts. That took balls to do it. I really like the fact that Draymond Green said that. But Draymond Green's part of this generation that threw in the towel on the All-Star game. They didn't want to play. You imagine being that great at something and then you get invited to an all-expense trip. Everything's paid for. 4 seasons, limo buses to the game, catered food, parties, and you don't want to play? Like, you really don't want to play. And then they let a bunch of rising stars who should be playing on Saturday night play on Sunday. And then the worst part about it is they let Kevin Hart, the comedian who's really funny, they let him hijack the broadcast and interrupt the game, the whole game, and do comedy. What was that all about? So how would you fix it if you're a sports fan? What would you do? Because I give Max Crosby credit in a fun way. This is a fun way for Max. Max ended the Pro Bowl, Max Crosby. Because when we had the Pro Bowl in Vegas, Bobby, Max was the only one tackling anybody.
Oh, I know.
I'll never forget it. I was sitting in the lower bowl with my buddy, and we're sitting there, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. They're telling Max not to tackle. They were literally going up to Max saying, no, 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 no. We're not tackling. And Max is like, what? I'm playing football. Next thing, next year, gone. They took the Pro Bowl, they turned it into tug of war, golf, ping pong. And I was like, oh, boy, now that's gone. This NBA All-Star game, the reason I'm so passionate about the topic is I love the NBA. I do. I'm a diehard Knicks fan. I can't wait for the NBA to come to Vegas with an expansion team. I love the NBA, and they're ruining the sport on my watch. Yeah. So you can hear how passionate I'm getting about this. More passionate than Trayvon Merrick not being franchise tagged. I won't apologize for that. So if you're an NBA fan, what would you do to fix it? Or how would you like to crack the NBA for putting on that first-class garbage on a Sunday night in the Bay Area? And that might have been one of the worst sporting events in the last decade. And that's easily. I'm being, Bobby said easily. Easily, that might have been one of the worst sports experiments that we've seen in a decade. 702-365-9200. Thor from the Raider Nation Drinking Club out in Summerlin. How are you, Thor?
JT, what's happening, my brother? I'm hanging in. Honestly, I'm still trying to recover from that Sunday All-Star All-Star game, whatever you call it. We had a barbecue without. I didn't even realize the All-Star game was on. And then we saw it was on, so we had it on, but we had music on. We weren't paying it. A little bit we did pay attention. What is this? Honestly, I'm from the Bay. I'm a Warrior fan. I'm a huge Too Short Need 40 fan. You know what? So that was great to see the Bay. They showed Oakland some love in there. You know, the game itself was a joke, but all like the Pro Bowl is terrible. The baseball is the best All-Star game, I guess, because it means something. I don't know what you do to fix it, though. Honestly, I say you just get rid of it. Call people All-Star. Whoever makes All-Star, they got that on their record, but they don't need to be out there. They don't want to get hurt because it's such big money now in their season contracts. There's no reason for them to risk what they're getting, I guess, for that, right? So I just say get rid of them. Like, that's a waste. Honestly, I don't watch the Pro Bowl. I don't watch I don't anymore.
Okay. Appreciate it, Thor. Thanks, man. I'll see you on the Raider Cruise. Going on the Raider Cruise in March. Thor will be on it. You can't get rid of the All-Star game because of the impact of the millions it brings to the economy. Right. So you have to keep the All-Star game in the festivities because it actually does pump millions upon millions of dollars into an NBA city. Atlanta, Oakland, the Bay Area, San Francisco, New York, Detroit, wherever you're going to do it, it's too important. Same thing with the Pro Bowl. They moved it to Orlando. It's a big destination, and kids like it. I'm surprised no one's called in on the kid factor on this. You know, a lot of people who listen to the show have kids. And my kids are older now. They're 23 and 21, and they love the NBA. But the young kids that I see at NBA Summer League, I'm a big fan of NBA Summer League. Yeah. That comes here, it's just for the kids. Kids get to walk around unsupervised. You can drop your kids off. It's like NBA daycare. They can go to 4 games a day, get autographs. And I look at the kids and they're having a blast. Well, the NBA All-Star game is supposed to be about the kids. But when you're dumbing it down to make the kids involved, and a lot of the kids don't have the attention span because they're on TikTok, they're playing video games. They're playing video games and they're on TikTok. They're not going to pay attention. So the NBA understands this, and the NBA hires Kevin Hart to be a clown and take selfies and interrupt the game because they think, I guess, the kids are going to be interested in that. This isn't a get off my lawn topic. The topic is much bigger. When I built it with Bobby today before the show, the main topic is how do you deal with sports taking away what you used to think was great and screw it up because the calendar changed. Like the NBA All-Star game from 1984 should be the same All-Star game in 2025. No changes. None. You don't change anything. The 84, the 91, the 2002 All-Star game should have looked the way 2025 should have looked like that. It should have been a rapper or a female performer on the pregame, introduce the players, play the first and second quarter, have halftime, bring out another rapper or entertainer, and then play the third and fourth quarter until someone wins. And then in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go, everybody plays a little bit of defense. That's the only way it's going to be fixed. The answer is right in front of us. Hockey changed to 3-on-3 or 4-on-4. No one plays defense. It scores 9-7. So they turn that into a skills competition where they bring Mark Stone to the lake at the Bellagio and have him shoot pucks into the fountains. Why? I don't know, because they need to make it entertaining. So by making sports entertaining, most of the time we're dumbing it down. Let me throw this one out to you. What's the most unique evolution in sports where they've done something entertaining that you liked? Think about that. When the last time that hockey, football, basketball, or baseball did something to change the sport and you were like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'll go first. The MLB home run contest. They said we're going to have just a running clock. We're going to put up 40 seconds or a minute or whatever. You fast as you can throw it and hit it out, we're going to do that instead of having the pitcher throwing balls and guys not swinging at pitches. And then they add the bonus ball or this or that. I like what they did with the MLB home run derby. The best home run hitters are always in it. They want to win it, right? They want to win it. Our NBA players don't want to participate in the dunk contest. They want nothing to do with it. We got a G League kid winning it, jumping over a car. That was a great dunk, by the way. Tremendous dunk. But, when you look at sports, the way I dive deep into sports, if you bring in entertainment, you got to be smart about it. The Raiders are pretty smart about it because the Raiders, at a Legion home game, you're going to get an overdose of entertainment, period. And most of it's really good. You can get Sammy Hagar, Carlos Santana, Too Short. I mean, go through the list of entertainment. Billy Gibbons, Don Felder, whoever you like. Halftime at a Raider game is a concert. They don't have to give you a concert. They used to give you dogs playing Frisbee at halftime. Dogs playing Frisbee at halftime. Now, the department I work for puts on this massive concert, which is pretty good. You want to win the game, but you're going to get entertained. The people from out of town are in Vegas and do that. But the evolution of entertainment in sports at these big games, all-star games, World Series, Stanley Cups, mostly we'll stick with the All-Star weekend. It's really getting in the way of the sport. Yeah, that's what's happening, man. It's getting away of the sports. So the NBA All-Star game, I swear to God, I'm watching Saturday Night Live with my wife. And most of that was okay. But again, the skits are so bad. I mean, they can't do these skits. Lorne Michaels, his entire 50 years, I'd say over 50 to 60% of the skits aren't funny.
I know.
And then you have cone heads or you have something funny. You're like, it's iconic, right? But so my wife and I are switching over. And we switch over on YouTube TV, which takes about 2 seconds.
Yes, it does.
And I mean, 3 of the times we switched over on commercials, Kevin Hart was on TV talking into a microphone. I was like, wow. Why is Kevin Hart talking to the players and the players are dribbling? I mean, that's not allowed, is that? Why did Adam Silver let that happen? I don't know. Obviously, I'm into this topic a lot more than anybody else. We'll get into it with Damon Bruce, the Maverick up there in the Bay Area. He has strong opinions on this. He's in San Francisco, lives in San Francisco where this went down. And Frank Schwab is going to join us from Yahoo, the NFL Insider, next hour. And we're going to dive in with him on the franchise tag and free agency. It's kind of time now for Raider fans to start getting this. You're going to get a quarterback from Tom Brady. He's going to give you one.
Yeah.
You might not like it. You better start coming to grips with it. Okay? Because Raider Nation is torn on this topic. Right? Let me make the sound. Raider Nation is torn on this topic. They don't know if they want Shador, who's dropping to 6. Shador's coming. They don't know if they want to trade up for Cam. They like Jackson Dart. They're not sure about Darnold and Russ and Aaron Rodgers. Man, I don't even want to say Aaron Rodgers here, man. It infuriates people. Justin Fields. There are a lot of names out there, Raider Nation. And the great Tom Brady is going to drop one right in your lap. Get ready. I don't know who it is. I swear, I don't have any idea who it's going to be. But they're getting your quarterback on top of Aiden O'Connell. And you kind of got to like it because Tom Brady's going to be making the call with Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll. And they're going to put a lot of time into that decision. We're brought to you by Resorts World. Great place for March Madness. They have activations throughout, Doghouse Saloon, Red Tail, all the other venues. March Madness is coming to Resorts World. I think this is one of the best hours we've done with the worst fucking reaction we could have to a show. I mean, this place is, we should just go on vacation. It is a dead day, man. Thank God it doesn't affect me, man. I have a whiteboard, a clean slate for a memory when this show ends. I'll tell you that.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness. Weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio.
Everybody enjoy their President's Day. Everybody have the day off. How many people had to work on President's Day? Or did you have the national holiday? How many people were able to work? Yeah, a little bit. I'm going to shave it this week.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable. Silverado. Adventurous, fun, techy, trailblazer, stylish, nimble, tracks. Innovative, electric,
Man, I'm surprised I didn't get the WNBA more involved with the NBA All-Star Game. I thought that was going to be something they were going to push too pretty hard. Man, Big D, you were in Palm D for 10 days, man. I love Palm Springs. Palm Desert or Palm Springs? If you're a diehard Raider fan, this is your home. Become a member today and receive 20% off online purchases, hotel discounts for home and away games, access to members-only merchandise, and much more. All memberships are now Shador. memberships. Once a member, always a member.
Palm Springs, nice. How about that other green cut from yesterday? NBA is so boring today.
Yep. We come out with that?
Yep. Only about 4 minutes.
Okay. Hey, did anybody get a chance to see my live stream last night? I'm doing it again at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Thought it was pretty good last night. We got a nice download on that. A lot of people like that. My son caught up a couple of reels on that. So I'm going to do that again tonight if you're around. Yep. No need to shave, man. No need to in the off season, right? Yeah, Champ Kelly is gone. Let me comment on that.
Start 2025 right with a 90-day no-pay auto loan from One Nevada. Visit onenevada.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Running a business gets more complicated every year, so you need a trusted advisor in your corner, especially when it comes to your workers' comp program. Pro Group Management has been helping Nevada's self-insured businesses for over 20 years. Whether your business is retail, trucking, building, agriculture, or auto, our team has the expertise to make sure your coverage meets your needs and at a price that fits your budget.
All right, Bobby, we got 4 minutes here. Then I'm going to bail.
Yeah, about 4 minutes.
Okay. Yep.
I'm going to play that Draymond cut.
Okay.
Find out how to have Pro Group Management work for you. Visit our website at pgnnv.com.
Yeah, I'll mention Champ Kelly here, which.
Now. That's pgnnv.com or call our Las Vegas office at 702-740-4380. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Dish the burgers and fries and go Greek. Stefano's Greek and Mediterranean Grill with 4 valley-wide locations. Hungry for something new? Try our fresh, never frozen Mediterranean salmon. Enjoy Greek lemon potato waffles served with our delicious tzatziki sauce. Cool off with our ice-cold, authentic Greek frappes. Discover your new favorites at Stefano's. Order online or off the app. That's Stefano'sLV.com. Stefano's, since 1998. Real food, real fast, real healthy.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
It's not smart basketball no more. I saw a clip not too long ago where Kobe said, like, yo, it's accidental basketball. He couldn't have been more right. It was so refreshing to play against Bron because every possession is like a chess match. But you don't just get that on a regular basis. It's just who can run faster, who can hit more threes. It's no substance. And so I think it's very boring.
Man, Draymond's dropping bombs. JT, back with you. We're brought to you, as you heard, by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. If you're hungry, always One Love, the box combo, the Caniac combo, the 3-finger combo, the sandwich combo, and the kids combo. Everything you want, especially for your tailgate needs. They have the best lemonade and iced tea I've ever had. It's both of them fantastic. The e-gift One Love to your Valentine promotion is fantastic. And they're right next door. If you go to raisingcanes.com or you go on the mobile app, you'll find the Canes closest to you. I'm loving this Draymond Green show that I'm doing here today. I just thought it'd connect more with our East Bay listeners who are Warrior fans on what Draymond's been saying. I'll talk to Damon Bruce and have a conversation with him coming up here. He, like myself, were not happy with the All-Star game. A couple of people in my YouTube chat wanted me to comment on Champ Kelly and Champ Kelly being let go from the Raiders. The Raiders haven't put out anything, I believe, on that. And the national news is reporting that Champ is out. And I think the world of Champ. I met him like everybody did just a couple of years ago. What a gentleman. What a great guy, family guy. I get a chance to shake his hands on the sideline or in the building. The Raiders now have John Spytek, and actually he'll have his own team in place to go build the Raiders personnel department. Champ worked for several NFL franchises in his career. Remember, he started off with the Broncos in 2007, I believe, as a college scout. He worked his way up to the front office ladder, and then he spent years working with the Chicago Bears. He recently interviewed for the Jacksonville Jaguars GM position. So that's good, because I think Champ will be a GM in this league pretty soon. He took over for Dave Ziegler after Dave wasn't retained along with Josh McDaniels. So I would hope that everybody, if you get a chance to see Champ or thank him, people come in and out of your lives all the time. All the time in football, people come in your life, then they're out of your life. I was just at the Super Bowl with John Gruden a couple nights. You bump into people that used to work for the Raiders along the way, and everybody is so cordial. Everybody is excited for everybody. I'm excited for my buddy, my neighbor, John Morton, who's now the offensive coordinator for Detroit. And you meet people along the way. David Shaw, you meet guys along the way that interview for jobs or work for the team. They no longer do, and you shake their hand. Some of them you tight with, you give them a hug, and you say, I hope to see you again. Champ Kelly, hell of a guy. One of the better, nicer gentlemen I've met in my tenureship with the Silver and Black. Wish him and his family absolutely the best going forward. And I promise you he will get a big job soon in this league, because he's one of those guys. A lot of people like Champ, and I think he's a good people person, gets along with players, front office, other teams, has relationships around the league. And once a Raider, always a Raider. And Champ always had a smile on his face, always walked the Legion Stadium and took time to talk to the fans and everybody else. Really, really enjoyed getting to know him from a distance and a little bit the way I did. Hour number 2 coming up next. Got a good hour. We'll talk to Fran Fraschilla. He's going to come in. There's college hoops coming up here. College basketball right around the corner. UNLV's got to get going here. Got to get hot in their tournament, Bobby. Got to find a way to sneak into the NCAA tournament. And coming up next at the top of the hour, Damon Bruce will join us. He's got a big YouTube page, Damon Bruce Plus, bigger than mine. And he's been off the radio for a while, and he loves it. He loves being off the radio and being on YouTube. Loves it, because he works his own schedule, and he's doing really well. And he's connected in the Bay Area on the fiasco that was the NBA All-Star Game. Brought to you by Modelo. I got my Modelo Yeti cup today, filled with coffee. Not Modelo's yet. It's not Friday, where I have my bucket of Modelo's. You're going to do Damon to a throw, or is it just... Okay, good. Thank